I was looking at this program that was put out, and if you read at the bottom, there's something very insightful as it relates to me. It's a quote from Thomas Sowell. When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. Obviously, I didn't know that was on there when I came in this morning, but to me, that is how I've tried to live my life as an attorney. I have folks that come in that are looking to try to get out of trouble. They come in thinking, well, Mr. Hallmark's got a good reputation. He's going to make this go away. He's got some sort of connections, or he's so good in front of a jury that it's just going to disappear. And let's just say I was able to wave that magic wand and make the problem disappear as far as his legal problems are concerned. That wouldn't help him if he's a drug addict. And a lot of these folks that come in are just that. They've been addicted to drugs for years. They grew up in households where they were unfortunately taking care of parents that were drug addicts. They were 10 years old making their own breakfast and making breakfast for their parents that couldn't get up off the couch. And people that grow up in that household, in that environment, they have a problem understanding that that's not normal sometimes. And of course they fall into the same train of conduct that their parents have lived. And it's tough when they come in. But I try to be honest and truthful with them about what they need to do. And this is somewhere where the drug court can come into play and certainly help some of these folks. But I'm very careful about who I recommend into the drug court, because as you've heard, it's extremely intense. And a lot of folks aren't ready for it. I wish they were, but they're not. And it's upsetting to me sometimes when I see someone that I know would potentially benefit from it, but I know that they're never going to get through it because they're not in a place where they're willing to not associate with certain people. They're in a place where they've got a boyfriend or girlfriend that's an addict that they're not willing to not have contact with. Or even sometimes their family. They just can't have contact with them because their families are addicts. And an addict cannot be around other addicts. And it's sad. I don't know how many of you are aware, but we have an extremely bad heroin problem that has come into this county and the surrounding counties. We're not talking about marijuana. We're not talking about these drugs that we've heard about that are deemed to be a little less aggressive. We're talking about heroin. And I've got teenage kids that's the first drugs they're really trying. They go from taking a few pills to injecting heroin. And it's tough when these folks come into my office and I'm trying to decide what is the best course of action for me. Of course, my duty as an attorney is to get the best possible result for them in the courtroom. And that's what I do. That being said, if I feel like they are appropriate for a rigorous program and they are ready and they've reached that bottom that Judge Bucci was referring to, then of course I refer them to the program. But an 18-month program that requires you to more or less turn your back on a way of life that you've lived for several years typically is a tough call. And I don't want to sign anyone up for a slow train to prison if they are just never going to get through the program because they're not mentally ready for that program. And I think it's a great program. This program needs to succeed. We need this program in this county. I can't tell you, every time I go to a calendar call, Judge Bucci's calendar call, I was there not that long ago, and I saw half a dozen clients that I represented 10 years ago. And they're back in the courtroom on drug charges. And it's frustrating to see that. So at the end of the day, we really do need this program to work, and we need to get the folks in there that need to be in there. And I wish it was as easy as just, okay, somebody's been arrested, this is the right person. But we have to go through a vetting process. And if we don't, we're just signing these folks up to fail, I'm afraid. Again, the strength of drugs that are coming through, the different types of drugs, is constantly evolving. There's a new drug that you may have read about, I think it's called Pink. It's out of, they've had a lot of deaths out in Salt Lake City area about it. You can order this stuff online for next to nothing. And there's only a few states that have criminalized it at this point. I believe Georgia is one of them that has. But it's killing kids. And they think they can just go online and order this stuff because a lot of states haven't criminalized it yet. And as we're adapting to these things, the drug court has to adapt and be aware of them as well. And these are just things that we have to attack with full force, and we have to be able to, with the drug court, treat these folks that are at rock bottom. I was asked to basically give you the defense perspective, and that's really where I'm at as a defense attorney. Is I try to vet the potential candidates as best I can, not sign somebody up to fail. And if I think that they're not ready mentally to do it, then I obviously just have to take my chances in court and do what we need to do in the courtroom. But that's all I really have. Thank you.